What up, guys? This is Cheevo Guides back here again with another achievement guide. Today we're going to be focusing on Crypt of the Serpent King Remastered 4K Edition. This is the 4K remastered version of an indie game that released back in 2016. That version is still available for sale. It's actually only $1.99. But that version is a much harder completion as it requires you to complete the game on every difficulty, so you have to complete it 3 times. That could take about 3 to 4 hours. However, this new version, the 4K version, can be done in just about an hour to an hour and a half, as we only have to play it 1 time for these achievements. The achievements are not the same as the previous version. So yeah, this version is much easier. Again, you can get it done in about an hour to an hour and a half compared to about the 4 hours that it would take to complete the other version. On top of that, this version is also really cheap. The game's only $2.99 at full price. If you're interested in picking it up, I'll have a link down in the description below as always. Now, this version is published by Eastasiasoft and it's developed by Rendercode Games. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the achievements. They're pretty much all related to completing the game, guys. All you gotta do is focus on completing the game and you're gonna unlock all these achievements along the way. There's really only one missable one, and that's for unlocking the sword. To unlock the sword, you're actually going to have to purchase it. So as you play the game, you're going to open up these treasure chests along the way. The treasure chests are either going to have potion or coins in them. You're going to collect the gold coins and eventually you'll be able to purchase the sword. The sword is the only weapon that you need to purchase in this game. It's the strongest weapon and it's the only one that has an achievement or trophy related to it. Aside from that, guys, we just need to complete all 7 levels. Along the way, we're going to unlock an achievement for collecting our first key, opening our first chest, and then one for killing our first goblin. All of these are going to come naturally. Now, let's go ahead and start the game. Obviously, I recommend playing on the easiest difficulty, which is called casual. After that, this is a quick look at the menu that you're going to see in between levels. This is where you're able to purchase new weapons, and you could also use your XP to get upgrades. Now, if you go down to melee weapon, eventually you'll find the sword. It costs a total of 6,000 gold. So we're going to keep opening treasure chests until we collect 6,000 gold, in which we can stop collecting the gold because there's no achievements related to it. Really, the only purpose of collecting the gold in terms of achievements is to save up for that sword. Now, let me explain how the game works. First and foremost, these levels or dungeons are randomized. That's why I'm not going to include footage for my full playthrough because it's absolutely pointless in terms of a guide because your map or level is going to look different than my map or level. This game does have some roguelite elements. Now, just in case you're wondering, if you happen to die, you're going to start back at the beginning of that level. Now, you may be wondering, how do you complete a level? Well, you're going to have to explore the dungeon room by room, and some of the rooms are going to have keys in the middle of them. You need to collect all these keys. It's going to show your stats in the upper left hand corner. One of these stats is keys. It shows how many keys are needed to complete the level and how many keys you have. So you're going to need to explore the dungeon until you collect all of the keys. After you collect all of the keys, you need to look on your map, and one of the rooms is going to have a stair icon. We need to find the room with the stairs. The stairs are going to lead you to the boss battle for that level. And that's basically how the game works. We're going to need to find all the keys in the dungeon. After you find all the keys, you're going to head to the stairs in which you're going to fight the boss for that level. And we're basically going to rinse and repeat this process for all 7 levels. Find all the keys, defeat the boss. Now, if you're following along with my footage, you can see I just got into the room with the stairs. It looks like this on your map. Your map is on the upper left-hand corner if you haven't noticed it yet. If I go down to the boss gate, it's going to say I need to collect all the keys. So basically what I want to do is go room to room until I find these keys, and then I'm going to make my way back to that room I was just in with the stairs to try to go ahead and defeat the boss. But first, I need to find all the keys. Now, real quick, I want to give some tips on fighting. For most of these enemies, you want to walk close to them until they swing at you. Before they swing at you, you want to take a couple steps back. After they swing, you're going to go back in and attack. And you're pretty much going to use this method on all enemies. Now, I'm going to make my way to the next room, and as you can see, we have a key in the middle. Typically, these keys are surrounded by some sort of lava moat, so you'll find that you'll need to jump over the lava, or in some levels spikes to be able to get to that key. Alright guys, cool, we have 8 out of 8 keys, so I can go back to the boss gate. Again, the boss is always located in the room with the stairs. If you take a close look at your map, you can see the stair icon on that boss room. And with most of these bosses, you're going to use the same strategy as we use on the regular enemies. We're going to go in close enough for them to swing at you. After they swing at you, you're going to back up and then go back in and attack them while they're recouping. And we're going to rinse and repeat this process for most of the enemies and bosses. With some of them, you want to try to go in a circle around them while attacking them. But for most, it's the strategy I just mentioned, going in and out and attacking. On to the next level, rinse and repeat. Now, at first, I recommend opening all the treasure chests until you have enough gold to purchase your sword. After you purchase your sword, it's not really necessary to waste your time opening all the chests. That is, unless you're running low on life and you're trying to find some potion. If you're running low on life, I do recommend looking in the chest. That way you can go ahead and heal yourself before you die and have to start the level all over again. Now, another thing I want to point out, you do not necessarily need to kill all of these enemies. Technically, you can just run from key to key until you find the boss and just defeat the boss. Really, we only have one achievement related to killing enemies, and that's for killing your first goblin, which is in the second level. Now, it's going to get to the point where in later levels, it's going to be a lot harder to just run from enemies, as some of the enemies charge you and some of them are much faster. It's going to get to the point where in later levels, we're not really going to have a choice except for to kill these enemies. But through the first few levels, you can skip killing a lot of these enemies and it will save you some time. But once you get further in the game, you're going to have some knights that start to charge you, and you're going to have some snakes that go really fast. So that's how I recommend completing this game. For the rest of the game, I'm going to be showing you guys bits and pieces of each level. I'm going to show you how to defeat each enemy and also how to defeat each boss. So if you want to see some strategies on how to defeat each of the enemies and each of the bosses, go ahead and follow along with the rest of the video. But for now, you have all of the information that you need to go for this 1000G or Platinum trophy. So currently I'm fighting the boss of the second level. This is the Green Goblin boss. For strategy, I would just circle around him, wait for him to strike, and then go in and hit him. Basically a counter. So you want to go ahead, back up, let him swing. After he misses, go in for the strike. Rinse and repeat this until you defeat this goblin. After that, we're going to end up unlocking the achievement for finding all of the keys and defeating the boss in the second level. As you can see, to complete this second level, it took me 8 minutes and 51 seconds. Alright, so we've saved up 597 XP. What I recommend working on first is definitely your strength. I went ahead and maxed out my strength at 10 before I even touched endurance or agility. This is so that you can go ahead and try to kill most of these enemies in 1, maybe 2 hits max. Now at this point, I did have enough money to go ahead and purchase that sword. So going into level 3, I already had the sword, guys. Hopefully, as long as you've been opening up all the treasure chests in the first 2 levels, you should have enough money to purchase the sword. Keep in mind that at the upgrade screen, your XP and your gold are separate things. Your XP is used to upgrade your character, and your gold is used to purchase things. Also, there are ranged weapons, but I wouldn't even worry about them, as they really aren't even that effective and they have a limited amount of ammo. I would really just stick to the sword, as it's the most powerful weapon in the game, especially with your strength upgraded. Now here we have the third boss. Same strategy with this one, go in circles around him, wait for him to swing, and then go in for the attack. After that, we'll end up defeating the third boss, and we'll end up unlocking the achievement related to level 3. Again, I completed this one in about 8 minutes. That's currently my stats. I'm going to go ahead and use the XP that I have now to go ahead and max out my strength at 10. Once you max it out at 10, moving forward, you'll have to use your XP on a different ability, like endurance or agility. Alright, level 4, we have skeletons as our enemies. These ones are actually really simple to defeat. They only strike once, so just back up, let them swing, and then go back in for the attack. In terms of the keys, they're going to be surrounded by lava, so just jump over, grab the key, and then jump back over the lava. Right here we have another skeleton. Again, they only swing once, so let them swing and then go back in for the attack. If you have your strength maxed out like me and you have the sword, you should be able to defeat these skeletons in one swing. So after you collect all the keys, go down to the boss battle. We're going to have this Lizard King sort of boss. And basically, we only need to strike him about 2 times with our sword because we have our strength maxed out and we have the best weapon. So just let him swing, go back in, and attack him. After defeating him, we'll end up unlocking the achievement for level 4 completed for finding all of the keys and defeating the boss in level 4. Now, we have some XP. I'm going to go ahead and use it on endurance. That basically helps you get more HP. After you use all of your XP, go ahead and start up the next level. On level 5, we're going to be fighting these night enemies, and they charge you. So what you want to do is wait for them to charge you, and once they get close, you want to take a few steps back. They're going to try to poke you, and after he pokes out his weapon or swings it at you, go ahead and dodge it and go back in for a swing, and you should be able to defeat this enemy in just one swing. Now, I had mentioned earlier in the video, we're going to get to a point in the game where it's going to be hard to avoid these enemies, and this is one of those levels I was talking about. In some of the levels, I was just avoiding a lot of enemies. I wasn't necessarily trying to kill every single one, but once it gets to this level, you're going to have these knights chasing you all around the level, so you're not necessarily going to be able to run from them. For this level, I recommend killing them and then moving on. Now, once you get all your keys, we're going to end up fighting this king boss. And what we need to do here is just circle around him, let him swing, and go back in for the swing. We're going to have to hit him a few times, I think like 3 times or so. But just know with his attack, he only swings once. He doesn't swing twice. So just let him swing and then go back in for the attack. Also completed this level in about 8 minutes. Well, actually 9 minutes for this one. Again, we have some XP. So we're going to go ahead and add that to endurance, probably max that out, and then we can use the rest on agility. And as you can see, I just unlocked my achievement related to level 5, and we're going to go ahead and start up level 6. On level 6, our enemies are going to be spiders. Now for these, you have to aim low. If you aim too high, you're going to miss. You're basically going to be swinging above the spider. Now, in my experience, you only need to hit the spider with one attack, but make sure that you're aiming down or you're not going to hit them. And with these ones, similar to other enemies, you just take a step back, let them try to bite you, and then go back in for the swing. Once you collect all the keys, we're going to find the stairs, go down to fight the next boss. We have a weird looking creature for this boss. He's going to try to bite you, and we're going to have to hit him a few times actually. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and circle around him. After he bites, go in for the swing, rinse and repeat until you defeat him. After you defeat him, we're going to end up unlocking the achievement for completing level 6, finding all the keys and defeating that boss. Now for the final level, level 7, our enemy type is going to be snakes. These snakes are really fast, they will chase you, so I highly recommend killing them and not trying to run from them. They also have pretty good distance on their strike, but the strategy is the same. Go in, back up, let them try to bite you. After they bite you, hopefully they missed, go back in for the strike. Now, the main difference with this level is to go from room to room, we're going to have to open the doors. So, find the wooden door and interact with it to head over to the next room. This definitely makes it so you can't run from these snakes. You're pretty much forced to defeat every single one that you run into. After you get all the keys, you're going to go to the room with the stairs, and we're going to fight our last boss. I believe this is the quote-unquote Serpent King. This boss is actually going to take a few strikes to defeat. And I went into this boss battle with nearly no HP, so I was really trying not to get hit here. But strategy is similar to other bosses. We're going to try to circle around him. After the boss strikes 2 times, you want to go in for a strike. Again, let him swing 2 times before you go in for the strike. Otherwise, you may get hit with his second strike. And after you defeat him, you should end up unlocking your final achievement or trophy for completing the 7th level, finding all the keys, and defeating that final boss. At this point, we should have all of the achievements or trophies, giving you that full 1000G or Platinum trophy. Let's just double check. Yep, I got my 1000G out of 1000G. As always, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 12 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including TimG84, Kegger101, Kana25, and GamerTagNation.com. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe.